Are you curious about Omaha's lakes, recreation areas, and different trail options? This video is for you. We're going to tour 5 of Omaha's inner city lakes so you know what the recreation options are in Omaha. My name is Morgan Putnam and I am a local realtor. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for stopping by the Omaha Insider YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you're always the first to know what's going on in Omaha. The first recreation area that we're going to stop by today is Chalco Hills. Chalco Hills is off of 156th and Giles, but there's also a few different lake entrance points. This is a lake that has 6 miles of paved trail around the entire lake and a decent amount of shade. That's something that we'll be covering at every lake because in the summer it can really make a difference if there's good shade coverage and not at all because it can be really, really hot. Chalco Hills has this awesome prairie around us with some great traditional native grasses to the area, decent amount of tree cover over the trail. We'll also stop by Dom's Play area, which is a little playground that is great for kids. This lake allows for no wake boating, so you can bring a little fishing boat onto this lake, and then obviously of course kayaking and paddleboarding. There are a few different spots to be able to enter the lake to drop in a little boat or a paddleboard or whatever it is that you're wanting to do. This trail is accessible both to bikes and to walkers, runners, whatever you are interested in. It's a great place to do that. There's also at the main entrance there is a bike rental place where you can rent like a city bike where you download the app and pay for it, and then you're able to bike using one of those city bikes. At the main entrance there's also a natural resource center where there's like a small little museum. It'd be fun for little kids just for a little bit. It's not a big fun thing to do with your kids, but a little place to stop, especially if it's really hot, to be in some air conditioning. In the resource center there's also bathrooms, which is awesome, especially with those little kids. The average sales price for a home close to Chalco Hills is $309,000. So this is a place where if you want to be within walking distance, it is relatively affordable. The average price point for a home in Omaha is $350,000, so this is a little bit below average, which is great. So it's nice and affordable if you want to live close to a lake. We are still at Chalco Hills recreation area, and this is the playground portion, and it is an amazing playground. It has some inclusive elements, but then it also, if we go this way a little bit, there you'll see that this is a more natural playground where it's just kind of like logs, different things you can climb through and rocks to climb on. Then over here there's also a sand pit, so there's just a lot of different things you can do here. There's also a little like covered pavilion that with some charcoal grills that you could grill on, but something to know about down here at the playground, the bathrooms are super disgusting. So I would definitely use the bathrooms up at the resource center if you want a more civilized bathroom experience. But yeah, so this is obviously a great play space for kids, and then you also have the options of playing with like the more natural playground elements. The second lake we're stopping at is Zorinsky Lake. So this is an amazing recreation area that has over 250 acres of water in the lake, and then the trail is just shy of 8 miles all the way around. There's also a cutoff point where you can just do around 4.5 miles if you want something a little bit shorter. It's truly a lovely lake and park. There are different parking lots throughout the lake area with different pavilions. That's perfect for hosting parties, anything like that. There's a ton to do here at Zorinsky. The park is over 1,000 acres, so it's really quite large, and it is just south of Center Street on the east side to 156th to all the way on 175th, and then 168th is kind of a main thoroughfare that goes north to south through the middle of Zorinsky Lake. And in 2025 it just got redone, so there is now a pedestrian walkway underneath the bridge, so it's really easy to safely cross 168th, where before it was very not safe. People were crossing it and it was very risky. So now there's that awesome walkway, so you can easily combine and get the full 8-mile loop around Zorinsky. And in 2025 they also opened this new inclusive playground that is right behind me. So it's made for people and kids of all abilities. They have a little toddler section, so it's a really small play equipment, but then also a big play equipment. So, and it has some shade, which is super nice on those really hot Nebraska days. There is an element of wildlife at Zorinsky. You maybe could see deer. That would be awesome. That would probably be as good as it's going to get. But you also will see plenty of ducks, geese, turkeys, that sort of thing. So the lake is perfect for paddleboarding and canoeing. There's always a ton of people out on paddleboards and canoes. You're not supposed to use a motorized boat, but we still see people using them all the time. And the trail is fully paved, so it's perfect for running, walking, biking, or if kids are on scooters. There's just a lot of different points in and out of the trail, so you don't necessarily have to do the full 8 miles if that's maybe not within your capacity. If you're wanting to live close to Zorinsky, there are a ton of amazing neighborhoods around Zorinsky. All of this is in Millard schools, and the price range will range anywhere from about 350 up to like 2 million. There are some very luxurious homes that are not on the lake. None of these neighborhoods are on the lake. This is truly just a public park, but you'll find homes within walkable distance. A lot of these neighborhoods have little trails that will connect to Zorinsky, and so it's perfect if you want to be living really close to the lake, but you're not necessarily going to be on a lake, but still have access to all of this amazing recreation. You can find the homes that run the full price range and be really close to Zorinsky. Next up, we are at Flanagan Lake. This is off of 168th and Fort Street, and it is a 5-mile trail around this lake. As you can see, there are like some trees sticking up from it, so it is a little bit more of a shallow lake. There are, again, no homes on this lake. This is one of the great things about this video and about these inner city lakes, is that homes are not built on these specific lakes, but they're still very close to neighborhoods, so you have great access to them. If you live in these neighborhoods, but you don't have to actually live on the lake to access the lake. This lake is perfect for paddleboarding and canoeing, and again, you can probably see those fishing boats out there, so you can have small motor boats on this lake, but it's also a no-wake lake. The trail is paved, so it's perfect for biking, jogging, scooters, strollers, all of those things that are perfect on a paved trail. A lot of the different parking lots have these little ramps so you can put your paddleboard, your canoe easily into the lake. The bathrooms are nice. There are shaded pavilions at a lot of the parking areas. Flanagan Lake is really close to Anchor Point, which is a neighborhood, and there are neighborhoods all around it. As you can kind of see in the distance, there's just these great suburban neighborhoods for all of Omaha right around here. The average price point for a home in these neighborhoods close is around $500,000. A lot of these are newer construction, which is why they are a little bit more expensive. But there's also apartment living really close that overlooks Flanagan Lake, which is great. So it's accessible to all people. And out in the distance, you can kind of see that there are still cornfields around here. So we are getting really on the outskirts of Omaha here at Flanagan Lake. Sometimes there are different like fun runs that happen here, fundraising runs, and one thing to note about Flanagan is that there is very little tree cover, so in the summer it can be super hot. It's a great place to come when in the morning or in the evening when it's a little bit cooler out, or in the spring and fall, because it is very hot in the summer, and then in the winter there's like no tree, so the wind can make it just very, very cold. So that is a little overview of Flanagan Lake. Next up is Standing Bear Lake. This is between 144th and 132nd between Fort and Military. So it's a little bit more on the northern side, really close to Bennington and Omaha. And the trail around Standing Bear Lake is anywhere from 3 miles to 4.5, depending which entrance you use. There are a ton of different parking entrances at Standing Bear Lake. And again, this is a perfect place to paddleboard, canoe, kayak. They do allow small motor boats like the other ones, but this is definitely a smaller lake than some of the other ones we have checked out. It is most famous for its floating bridge, which is right behind me. We're going to walk on it a little bit. There are neighborhoods that do connect to Standing Bear Lake, but not as much as what you might see in like with Zorinsky or Flanagan, where those houses were basically across the street from the lake. These are a little bit more separate, and it could just be because housing is a little bit more spread out here on the northern side of Omaha. It's just more suburban feeling. The houses out here, though, they on average are close to Standing Bear Lake, range from about that $290,000 to about $350,000 price point. So it is a little bit more affordable to live out here. It's because you are a little bit farther from the heart of the Omaha metro. But overall, this is a great lake to come and exercise at. There is a playground here. It is not an inclusive playground. It is just a kind of standard playground. And but yeah, this is an amazing place to check out if you are in Omaha area or if you're looking to live close to a recreational area. Standing Bear Lake is not necessarily the best place for bathrooms, so you might want to use the bathroom before you come or plan on using a porta potty. And about half the trail is shaded and half the trail is not. So again, something to know in the really hot summer or the really cold winter. The last inner city lake that we are going to visit today is Lake Cunningham. This is off of around like Interstate 680 and 92nd Street, so it is straight north of like the center of Omaha, and it is a pretty large lake. The trail around it is 6.5 miles, and one of the cool parts about Cunningham Lake is that it is home to a marina. So if you have like a small sailboat, you can store your boat here. You can see it in the distance. There are little sailboats, and there's a little bridge over there by the marina. This is also a campground, so it's a great place to camp, really close to the city if you still want to give like some sort of camping experience to your kids or something like that, but still be really close to Omaha in case things go bad and you need to go back home to sleep. So this is a great place for camping, storing your small sailboat, as well as like, again, canoeing, paddleboarding. There is a great boat launch down there that is perfect for any sort of that lake recreation activity. The bathrooms here are a little bit spottier. They have good bathrooms over by the campground, but around the rest of the trail, you can be pretty far away from a bathroom. And it's a mix of both shade and some direct sun. So again, summer and winter, you might want to be aware of that. That could get very, very hot or very cold because there's going to be no protection from the wind. There are some paddleboard rentals that is run by a private company. It's not through the city. So it has set hours, so you'd want to double check that on Google before you come if you're planning on renting a paddleboard. There's also a disc golf course here. So there's a lot of different recreation opportunities. Again, nobody is living directly on the lake, and there aren't necessarily neighborhoods super close, but the closest neighborhood is a more affordable neighborhood. It's around that $275,000 price point on average for a home. Once you're on the lake, though, you'll notice some very large acreages that are in the distance, and those homes are obviously going to be quite a bit more than suburban neighborhoods that are close by. This is an affordable place to be able to buy a home and access all of the awesome different recreational opportunities at Cunningham Lake. So those are the 5 best inner city lakes in Omaha. If you have any questions about any of these lakes or the communities that are near them, feel free to reach out. My name is Morgan Putnam, and my phone number is 402-720-9886.